This Halloween 2018, I'm not out in the big city, with a costume and, out at the club. But when I was younger, that was more my idea of Halloween. This time around, though, living off the grid, living in the state of Colorado, musing upon the deeper nature of things, relationships, why are we alive? Why do things happen for a reason? I do believe that. I don't always know what those reasons are, but I do believe that things ultimately happen for a reason. So, this Halloween, I am discussing what the archons are and how they operate in our world, or how we intersect with them, how it could be described also as a lower self, which is within, and how we as human beings are imperfect. I don't think that we're gods, but I think that we are here to develop certain abilities. And sometimes those abilities are depicted metaphorically, literally. For example, in movies like The Matrix, The Truman Show, Dark City, which is something that I discussed in another video for a suggestion for people to watch this Halloween that's safe for their kids, safe for their family, free of extreme sexuality and gore, with a deep philosophical tone. And even within Dark City, I'll just be brief and save it for the other video, there are ways in which the archons distract the male archetype or character, the particular main character that's in the movie Dark City. So, he wakes up with amnesia, and all of a sudden, he has a wife, but he doesn't have any memory of that wife. He's waking up to his true self. As that movie reveals, it's also an allegory. There's also references to the woman in the red dress and other things. And so the idea that I want to bring up, because this also applies to women out there that have been hurt by men. All right, I'm not going to make this gender specific. But I am speaking about the idea of synchronicity. But maybe certain things that do happen for a reason aren't really there to give us a good time. Maybe they're there to push some emotional buttons, and it may not be anyone's fault. It may just be the way the universe operates. But part of the universe is dealing with some of the lower energy and the energies and consciousnesses that are out there in this reality. A lot of people say they just want to focus on the positive, so they omit from their reality any learning about the real world that they're in. And there's a diverse number of souls. There's one book that, I've only read passages of it, but it's the closest thing to what I'm talking about, and it's Eve Lorgan's The Love Bite. And it's the supernatural influence over relationships. And I'll be real brief here. I think a lot of people, including myself, we could be duped into, like the love bite, which is also expressed in Dark City, bad relationships or distractions, instead of being on our true path. And ultimately, throughout history, there's a reason why monks and nuns, people on the spiritual path, have gone in certain directions. There's a reason why. And why they've stepped away from certain things. I used to live in Portland, Oregon, which and it's infested with people that live off the sexual vibrations only. And there's a real lack of love. I tell people about this, the quote-unquote jack shacks and the strip clubs and the escort services. In a way, I don't think I got to live or grow up a healthy, normal childhood, teenage years, or early adulthood, to be frank with you. And me going off grid is the end result of me basically saying, society, I'm walking away from you. I'm going my own way. I don't associate completely with MGTOW, but I do associate with going my own way and not chasing the women of today's day and age, because a lot of what I am, a lot of the values that I hold, a lot of women aren't into that. And I accept that. And so without getting into specifics of something that's happened to me behind the scenes, I'm going to keep that private. I alluded to it, but it's something like out of a movie plot where it's like, I bumped into someone that I talked to last year that I feel, made their own determination back then that didn't want anything to do with me. And then a year later to bump into that person and to have their contact info again and to reach out again and feel that, no, that person's still not interested. There's reasons why something's happened, these synchronicities, but I'm here to suggest that it's not necessarily a good thing. There could be certain things that just appear at certain times. And I would even say certain seasons, like going into fall and the holidays, that it's like, wow, this seems to be something where there's a synchronicity, where it's not one time, 2 times, 3 times a charm. Went into a restaurant today, and it's possible that person was there. And so I thought to myself as I left the restaurant, which was a buffet in which I was only able to basically take in 1 plate because my appetite was basically over at that point. You know, I think she was sitting there with some coworkers. I'm not really sure, didn't really want to look back, but it was like, wow, this is the reality of the small town where, nobody knows your name, but eventually they do, and they know why they rejected you. At least if you're in my shoes. A lot of people look at the stuff on this YouTube channel and they think that it's nuts. A lot of people, especially people that are new to my work, especially women, don't know how long I've been talking about the real suppression of women in our society today. That's not really discussed by the modern day feminists. It's something a little bit deeper. The mind control, even the military influence. There's a lot of ways in which the dominating structures have been guiding the minds of a lot of females, including consumers. And so even within the realm of spirituality, and I've talked about this for years, there's the spiritual materialism that a lot of people are lost in. And I think that a lot of the years of my content has alienated a lot of people overall. But you know what? I'd rather people know the true me, the true Alex Ansary, instead of wanting to get involved with the false version of Alex Ansary. I want people to know my true self. I'll go deep in an email if I'm writing to someone and reveal elements of my soul to them or what I really am passionate about. Maybe even confide with them. And ultimately, in this day and age, that's too much for a lot of people. So for whatever reason, and I'm here to tell you, whether you're male or female, there may really be a reason why you might keep for whatever reason, bumping into someone, whether you're in a large town or a small town, and it may seem like you should be following some of these cues. You may find yourself, as I did, going against your initial judgment or your initial idea or reaction, and you may go against it thinking that you are wrong, only to find yourself confused again and stuck in some sort of an emotional roller coaster in and around a full moon, in and around geomagnetic activity or some other reason, right? And we may think that it's there for a reason, that it's a synchronicity, but it really could be a dark synchronicity.